Oh, Tim from Fairplay now on the 29th of March 2022. In yesterday's video, I said I was going to watch the James Dalrymple, James Corbett interview, which I did, but although it was pretty good viewing, I didn't think they said anything too earth-shattering in it, nothing that we don't really know already, so I'm not really going to go on about it too much. Although if you do come across it, it's on Odyssey. I would recommend it, but it's nothing earth-shattering, so yeah, I'll leave it at that. I have just come in. I got home from work early today and I decided I'd plant, because a few days ago I was talking about planting some veg, and I got some of those grow bag things, put some soil and compost in them, and put some potatoes, carrots and onions in there. And I was thinking of where else can I grow some veg, and I totally forgot, just behind the camera here is like a window, and outside there I've got a basically a bed, which flower bed, which is probably 18 inches wide by about 8 foot long, something like that, 7 or 8 foot long, and it wasn't doing anything. It just had this shingle stuff on it. It used to have some plant pots on there until the plants kind of died basically, and had to get rid of them. So it wasn't doing anything, so I thought, why don't I just grow some potatoes in there? So I sort of got rid of all the shingle stuff, which was a lot more of that than I thought. So I had to get rid of loads of that. And then the soil underneath is, I've never seen so many stones in soil, so I had to sort of dig it all over, and it's very clay soil around here as well, so it was quite tough going, and I had to get a lot of the stones out, put a load of compost in there, and hopefully it's just about okay for growing potatoes in there. So I planted some of my King Edward seed potato things and popped them in there. I think I've got about 8 plants in there now. Well, I say plants, eight seedlings in there now, and I've just got a little bit more to finish off kind of this end, which I'm going to do in the next few days. I'm going to get some more compost and then get it complete. I will probably show some footage, or at least some photos of what I'm growing, but there's no point in doing it now because it's bare soil basically, so it's not going to be very exciting for you. But when I start getting a few things, hopefully before too long, start getting a few things popping up, I'll sort of do a little bit of video footage for you on that. Anyway, after I got in with my achy back from all that digging, and I had a shower, then I sat down, had a cup of coffee, and looking at some headlines here from today, and there's a few things that catch my eye. And the first thing is the thing that starts with B, needed every 6 months for foreseeable future, says UK Government Health Agency. So basically this boss of this thing, the UK Health Security Agency, which is this, I think it's basically what they're now calling the November Hotel Sierra officially. And the boss is a Dr. Jenny Harries, who's the chief executive, and she is saying that millions of Britons in the most vulnerable categories could need the thing that starts with B every 6 months. Well, fancy that. It's a far cry from this time last year when it was 2 things that start with J and sounds like, what does it sound like? Anyway, yeah, the 2 things that start with J, and it's like that. And 2 of those to freedom was the watchword around this time last year, wasn't it? And if you had dared to say this time last year, oh, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you end up needing those things. Once you start, you're not going to be able to stop, like a can of Pringles. You're going to need to have them forevermore. Well, you'd have been just being called a mad conspiracy theorist, wouldn't you? But a year later on, and here we are. So another little headline which caught my eye, electric cars have a very dirty secret. And Volvo, no one less than Volvo has said this. They have confirmed that electric cars involve far more embodied carbon dioxide and must be driven 50,000 to 100,000 miles on just one battery, that is, as well. So if you have a battery change for any reason, it's null and void on one battery before they move into credit. I presume carbon credit, that means, compared to a petrol-powered car, writes this journalist in the Telegraph. So basically, they're saying that you're not going to be any better off as far as CO2 emissions are concerned with an electric car unless you do at least 50,000 and probably more like 100,000 miles in that particular vehicle, according to Volvo. And well, who keeps a car long enough to do 50,000 to 100,000 miles? And even if you do, are you going to be keeping the battery on it for that long? Because they only last a certain amount of time before you have to sort of change them over. So, you know, it's looking like, especially when you couple them to all the other disadvantages and against the environment that electric vehicles have, the sort of mining processes to get the lithium and the other bits and bobs that you need to make the batteries are very un-environmentally friendly, I believe. And when they come to the end of their life, again, that's very un-environmental as well. So it's just, I don't know, it's just one of these things where it seems like a fantastic idea at the time, and then you start finding these things out after a little while, and you think, yeah, you know, it's a load of rubbish, basically. So that was a very interesting one. And let's just scroll down here a little way further. And this again is from a very, I say credible source. Not that these sources are credible in this day and age. We all know how these sort of big companies, big sort of media publications and even government sort of bodies are not particularly trustworthy, but the Office of National Statistics, ONS, haven't been too bad up to now, I don't think. And they have announced, just I think in the last day or two, that February's age standardised mortality rate was the second lowest on record. So just reading a little bit further on, the ONS announced last week that there were 43,081 deaths registered in England in February, which is 6,700 fewer than in January and 7.2% less than the 5-year average. Make of that what you will, but I think it discredits quite a lot of stuff. So yeah, so just a few interesting sort of points of news there, all of them equally sort of eyebrow raising, I would say. So with that thought, I'll leave it there and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.